Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin with the first keynote, the power of surrender in the darkness. Life is full of challenges, stress, financial worries, health concerns, broken relationships. But in the quiet moments of the night when the world is still, Allah calls us to surrender. The Quran reminds us, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Surah At-Talaq 65:3. There is immense comfort in knowing that the one who created the universe is watching over you, not just from afar, but intimately, personally and lovingly. As you lie down tonight, picture your worries in your hands, then imagine handing them over to Allah, knowing He is capable of handling what you cannot. The second keynote is the Zikr itself, the words you say before bed. One of the most powerful phrases you can recite is, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu, wa huwa li kulli shay'in qadir. There is no God but Allah, alone with no partner. His is the dominion, His is the praise, and He is over all things competent. Saying this slowly, with presence of heart, allows your soul to recognize that control belongs to Allah alone. It is a reminder that your struggle is not meaningless, and your prayer is never unheard. Your heart will feel lighter with each repetition, as if Allah Himself is whispering to you, I am with you, I have it all under control. Next we move to the signs of Allah's care. Often when problems feel overwhelming, the solutions are already on their way, quietly unfolding in ways we cannot see. Perhaps a stranger will offer help, a door will open unexpectedly, or you will receive a thought that sparks the solution. Allah's timing is perfect. Remember the story of Prophet Yunus as trapped in the belly of the whale, turning to Allah in zikr and prayer. He was patient, he surrendered, and Allah relieved him at the precise moment. Your life too contains these moments, signs sent to you with divine precision. The fourth keynote is real-life transformation. Consider a mother struggling to make ends meet, exhausted and worried about her children. One night she begins reciting this zikr with sincerity. Over time doors open, job opportunities, community support, moments of ease. Or think of a student overwhelmed with exams, turning to Allah at night, feeling alone, only to wake up with clarity and focus. These examples are not coincidences, they are manifestations of divine mercy. Zikr does not merely comfort the heart, it aligns you with Allah's plan, paving the way for relief and blessings that you may not immediately see. Finally, preparing your heart for blessings. When you end your day in remembrance of Allah, you are not only seeking protection from the night's worries, but you are also readying your soul to receive what Allah has prepared for you. Peace, clarity, guidance and sustenance are all more likely to enter your life when your heart is surrendered, your mind is calm, and your trust is complete. Each night becomes a rehearsal of trust, a practice in hope, and a testament to faith that Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding. As you lie down tonight, repeat this zikr with intention. Let your heart feel its meaning, and trust that Allah is handling what you cannot. Your problems are not ignored, they are being addressed in ways only He knows. And through this nightly remembrance, you are preparing yourself to recognize the blessings and mercy that follow. Life has a way of testing the human heart, placing burdens upon us that often feel heavier than we can bear. Stress accumulates, worries multiply, and sometimes it seems as if every problem arrives at once. Perhaps you have felt that weight tonight, lying in your bed, while your mind races with everything that demands your attention. Bills that must be paid, relationships that feel strained, responsibilities that seem unmanageable, fears that creep into your soul. In these moments it is natural to feel helpless, to feel as though there is no solution, no way out. And yet it is precisely in these moments, in the darkness and silence of the night, that the greatest opportunity for relief appears. There is a power in surrender, a profound peace in letting go, and a deep connection to Allah that emerges when we recognize that we are not in control, and that we do not have to be. Surrender is often misunderstood. Many think it means giving up, resigning oneself to failure or defeat. But in reality, surrender is an act of strength, an acknowledgement of a higher wisdom. The Quran reminds us of the importance of reliance on Allah, saying, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Surah At-Talaq 65:3. To surrender is to trust fully, without reservation, that the one who created the universe understands the intricacies of your life far better than you ever could. It is to hand over the problems that feel too heavy, to place them into the hands of the Almighty, and to believe with certainty that no difficulty is beyond His power. When you surrender, you are not passively waiting, you are actively engaging in a partnership with Allah, where you do what you can, and He does what only He can. Consider how often we carry our worries as if we were meant to solve them alone. Our minds replay the same fears, our hearts grow restless, and our sleep is disturbed. Yet when we truly surrender, there is an immediate tangible relief. It is not that the problems vanish instantly, but the burden is lifted from the soul. Imagine a traveler carrying a heavy bag up a steep mountain. The weight slows every step, saps energy, and clouds the mind. Now imagine a guide appearing and offering to carry the bag for you. You are still on the journey, still moving forward, but your steps are lighter, your heart is freer, and your vision becomes clearer. Surrender works in exactly this way. By entrusting your worries to Allah, you allow Him to bear what is too heavy, and you create space for clarity, peace, and guidance. This surrender is most powerful at night, in the moments before sleep. The world is quiet, distractions fade, and the soul is most receptive to reflection. It is a sacred time, a chance to review the day, acknowledge the struggles, and then intentionally hand them over to Allah. Nighttime becomes a ritual of release. Each worry, fear, and anxiety is addressed through zikr, through the remembrance of Allah, as a way of saying, I have done what I can, and now I trust you to do what only you can. There is profound beauty in this ritual. The very act of surrender prepares the heart for divine intervention, softens the soul, and creates an inner sanctuary of peace amidst the chaos of life. Real life examples illustrate this truth. Consider a man overwhelmed with financial difficulties, unable to see a way forward. Each night he recites a simple remembrance of Allah, placing his worries into divine hands. Slowly solutions begin to appear, opportunities he had not anticipated, assistance from unexpected sources, clarity in decision making. The first step was not finding the solution on his own, but surrendering to Allah and trusting in His wisdom. Or think of a mother, exhausted from the demands of life, lying awake at night, overwhelmed by responsibilities. In her surrender she finds a moment of peace, a sense that Allah is aware of every struggle, every tear, and every unspoken prayer. The heart feels lighter, the mind calmer, and she is able to rest knowing that the one who never sleeps is watching over her. Surrender in darkness is not just about relief from problems, it is about cultivating trust, strengthening faith, and deepening the connection with Allah. It is about training the heart to recognize that every difficulty has a purpose, every challenge carries a lesson, and every burden can be transformed into a means of closeness to the divine. When we practice surrender, we learn patience without despair, hope without expectation, and reliance without hesitation. It is a path of profound spiritual growth, a way to prepare ourselves to witness the signs of Allah's mercy and guidance that are already moving toward us, unseen and perfectly timed. The heart of a believer finds its truest peace in the remembrance of Allah, especially in the quiet moments before sleep. There is a specific zikr, a simple yet profoundly powerful phrase, that when recited with sincerity and presence of heart, can bring relief to the weary soul, clarity to the troubled mind, and protection from the burdens of the day. This zikr is not just words, it is a key that opens doors to divine mercy, a bridge connecting you to Allah's infinite power and wisdom, and a shield that guards your heart against despair and worry. The zikr that I am speaking of is La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. There is no God but Allah, alone with no partner. His is the dominion, His is the praise, and He is over all things competent. These words, when spoken slowly and with awareness, remind the believer that all control belongs to Allah alone. Our struggles, fears, and uncertainties are in the hands of one who is fully capable of resolving them. The heart begins to release the tension that comes from trying to manage what is beyond human capacity. Every repetition strengthens faith, deepens reliance, and infuses the soul with a sense of surrender that is both humbling and uplifting. When we recite this zikr before bed, we are acknowledging a profound truth. The problems of today are not beyond Allah's control. Whether it is financial stress, family struggles, health concerns, or the uncertainty of the future, Allah is capable of managing it all. The Quran tells us, Allah is the protector of those who have faith. He brings them out of darkness into light. Surah Al-Baqarah, 2:257. By turning to Him in the night, we place ourselves under His protection, allowing Him to guide, support, and ease the burdens that weigh on our hearts. The night becomes a time of empowerment, not of fear, of trust, not of worry. The power of this zikr is also in its ability to cultivate mindfulness. In a world filled with distractions, our hearts often wander, our minds replay the same fears, and our spirits feel restless. But when we slow down and focus on these words, our awareness centers on Allah alone. We begin to internalize the reality that He is the ultimate decision maker, the one who oversees every detail, and the only source of true security. This mindfulness transforms sleep from a passive act into an intentional spiritual practice, a time to align the heart with divine will. Each word repeated is a thread weaving your consciousness closer to Allah, creating a connection that reassures, comforts, and strengthens. Consider how powerful this practice is when reflected in real-life examples. A student overwhelmed with exams may feel anxiety and fear taking over the night, thoughts racing uncontrollably. Yet when he pauses to recite this zikr, focusing on its meaning, a sense of calm begins to settle. The mind becomes clearer, the heart steadier, and solutions, studying efficiently, understanding concepts, remembering key lessons, emerge more easily. Or think of a person facing financial uncertainty, lying awake worrying about debts and expenses. In the repetition of this zikr, trust takes root, small opportunities and unexpected solutions begin to appear, and the believer recognizes these not as coincidences, but as the results of divine guidance and intervention. The heart that was once heavy becomes lighter, infused with hope and faith. This zikr also reminds us of the majesty of Allah's dominion, by stating, Lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu, wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. We affirm that all authority, all praise, and all power belong to Him. Every detail of our lives, every unseen path, and every challenge we face is encompassed within His wisdom. When recited with conviction, these words have the ability to reframe our perspective. Problems are no longer overwhelming, they are opportunities for reliance, reminders of Allah's presence, and moments to witness His mercy. The believer learns that surrender is not a sign of weakness, but a declaration of faith, that the ultimate solution is never distant, but already in the hands of the one who knows best. Repeating this zikr each night prepares the heart for a deeper state of trust, creating an environment where divine mercy can flow freely. The soul learns to release tension, the mind finds clarity, and the heart grows confident in Allah's control over every situation. It is a practice that nurtures patience, instills hope, and strengthens reliance. Over time, this nightly remembrance shapes the believer's entire relationship with the world, turning challenges into lessons, struggles into signs, and nights into sacred moments of connection with the Almighty. Life often presents challenges that seem insurmountable, moments when the heart is heavy and the mind races with questions. How will this be resolved? When will relief come? Why do I face so many difficulties at once? In these moments, it is easy to feel abandoned, as if the universe has turned its back. Yet for the believer, these are precisely the moments when Allah's care is closest, even if it is unseen. The third keynote is about recognizing the signs of Allah's care around us, understanding that He is always at work behind the scenes, orchestrating solutions and blessings in ways that may not be immediately visible. Allah's care is continuous, unceasing, and all-encompassing. The Quran reminds us, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and the loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient, who when disaster strikes them, say indeed we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return. Surah Al-Baqarah 2, 155, 156. These trials are not a sign of abandonment, but a test of faith, a reminder that Allah is aware of every situation, every difficulty, and every emotion that we experience. Even when it feels like no one else understands, Allah is fully aware. He observes our struggle, our sincerity, and our attempts to persevere, and He responds in ways that are precise and perfectly timed. One of the most remarkable aspects of Allah's care is the subtlety of His signs. Often guidance and relief do not arrive in grand, unmistakable ways. They appear quietly, like soft light breaking through darkness, almost imperceptible until one reflects and realizes that it was there all along. Perhaps it is a chance conversation that brings clarity, an unexpected solution that suddenly appears, or a fleeting moment of inspiration that points the way forward. These are signs that Allah is watching, listening, and intervening. He does not force His hand but gently guides, allowing us to participate in our own growth while placing the ultimate control in His hands. Recognizing these signs requires awareness, patience, and a heart attuned to the subtle ways Allah manifests His mercy. The story of Prophet Yunus, as illustrates this beautifully. Trapped in the belly of the whale, feeling abandoned and hopeless, he turned to Allah in sincere prayer and remembrance. His supplication, made in the depths of despair, was not ignored. Allah responded, not immediately by changing the situation externally in a visible way, but by creating a path that would eventually lead to his rescue at the exact moment it was most needed. The signs were there all along, the sequence of events orchestrated perfectly, but only through patience, trust, and awareness did Yunus recognize Allah's care. This story reminds us that the solutions we seek may already be on their way, unfolding quietly, waiting for us to recognize the divine hand in action. In our daily lives, these signs often come through ordinary moments. A person struggling with loneliness may meet a new friend,
or encounter someone whose advice changes the course of their day. A student burdened with exams may find the exact piece of knowledge they needed in an unexpected source. A family facing financial hardship may experience relief through a small act of charity, a timely opportunity, or a kind gesture from an unexpected quarter. Each of these instances is a manifestation of Allah's care, a sign that He is aware, attentive, and orchestrating outcomes for those who trust Him. These signs require reflection. They may be hidden in events that at first seem random or coincidental, but when viewed through the lens of faith, their divine origin becomes clear. Recognizing these signs cultivates hope, patience, and gratitude. When a believer begins to notice Allah's subtle interventions, fear is replaced by trust, despair by anticipation, and confusion by clarity. The heart becomes trained to look for His guidance in every situation, to see challenges as opportunities for growth and evidence of His wisdom. Even setbacks become meaningful, not as punishments, but as part of a carefully designed path that leads toward a greater good, a higher purpose, or a hidden blessing. Awareness of Allah's signs transforms the way we experience life, allowing us to live with hope and confidence, knowing that nothing occurs outside of His knowledge, control, and mercy. By attuning ourselves to these signs, we prepare our hearts to receive blessings and solutions. We cultivate a state of vigilance, reflection, and faith that allows us to recognize divine care in moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Each sign is a reminder of His presence, a reassurance that our struggles are not meaningless, and a prompt to surrender our worries to the One who manages all affairs with perfect wisdom and love. Faith is not only a matter of belief, it is a practice, a living connection between the heart and the divine. One of the most powerful ways this connection manifests is through real-life transformations that occur when a person sincerely turns to Allah, places their trust in Him, and engages in the remembrance of His name. The fourth keynote focuses on these transformations, illustrating how ordinary people, in moments of struggle and despair, experience extraordinary change when they surrender to Allah with sincerity, patience, and unwavering hope. These stories are not merely inspirational anecdotes. They are living proof of Allah's mercy, a demonstration of how His guidance reaches those who seek Him with a sincere heart. Consider the life of a young student overwhelmed by exams, deadlines, and expectations. The pressure feels suffocating. Fear of failure fills the nights, and anxiety clouds every waking moment. In the depths of this struggle, the student begins a nightly practice of Zikr, reciting with presence of heart, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu, wa huwa kulli shay'in qadir. At first nothing seems to change externally, yet internally, a subtle shift occurs. The mind grows calmer, focus sharpens, and clarity replaces the fog of worry. Solutions that once seemed elusive now appear more accessible. The student discovers the ability to manage time effectively, retain knowledge, and approach challenges with composure. This transformation is a direct reflection of divine intervention, facilitated by the simplicity and sincerity of nightly remembrance. Or think of a mother burdened by financial difficulties, tirelessly working to provide for her children, facing uncertainty about bills, school fees, and basic needs. Nights are restless, filled with worry and doubt. In her desperation, she turns to Allah with heartfelt zikr, placing her fears in His hands. Over time, unexpected opportunities arise. A neighbor offers help, a forgotten resource becomes available, a small windfall appears. Each act of assistance, each piece of relief, is a manifestation of Allah's care. The mother, once weighed down by stress, begins to experience peace, a sense of hope, and the assurance that she is not alone in her struggle. Her heart, once heavy with fear, grows resilient, strengthened by trust and consistent remembrance. Even in matters of health, people witness transformations when they rely on Allah. A person facing a chronic illness may feel despair, overwhelmed by uncertainty and pain. By incorporating zikr into their nightly routine, focusing on the power, mercy, and wisdom of Allah, they experience a change not only in emotional strength, but often in physical endurance. Stress diminishes, the mind finds clarity, and the heart gains patience. While medical treatment continues, the sense of surrender amplifies recovery, as the individual becomes aligned with the divine plan, accepting that healing, comfort, and relief ultimately come from Allah's wisdom. These transformations extend beyond personal relief to relationships and social life. A person struggling with conflict, be it in the family, workplace, or community, can find resolution by turning to Allah in zikr and prayer. Hearts soften, perspective shift, and opportunities for reconciliation emerge that were previously unnoticed. The act of surrender changes not only the inner state, but also the external environment. Those around the believer may notice a newfound patience, humility, and wisdom, creating ripples of positive change that transform situations that once seemed irreparable. What these examples collectively demonstrate is the profound impact of sincere remembrance and trust in Allah. Transformation begins within the heart, where fear gives way to hope, anxiety to patience, and despair to faith. Through Zikr, believers cultivate a state of awareness and reliance that enables them to perceive Allah's guidance, recognize opportunities, and embrace solutions that align with His plan. The heart becomes attuned to divine timing, prepared to witness signs, and receptive to blessings that may arrive unexpectedly. Each story, each personal experience, reinforces a central truth. Allah responds to those who sincerely seek Him, and real-life transformation is the natural outcome of a heart immersed in remembrance, trust and surrender. The final keynote is about preparing the heart for blessings, and it is perhaps the most crucial step in experiencing the full impact of nightly zikr and surrender to Allah. Life is full of unpredictability, trials may come unexpectedly, opportunities may appear when least expected, and relief often arrives in forms we do not anticipate. Yet when a believer ends the day in remembrance of Allah, the heart is ready to receive these blessings. Preparing the heart is not a passive act. It is an active cultivation of trust, hope and awareness, creating a state of readiness to recognize and embrace the mercy and guidance that Allah has already set in motion. Each night, as the world quiets and the distractions fade, believers have a unique opportunity to align themselves with divine wisdom. Through zikr, they remind themselves of Allah's sovereignty, His power over all things, and His perfect knowledge of their lives. The Quran tells us, "Indeed Allah commands justice and good conduct, and giving to relatives, and forbids immorality, and bad conduct, and oppression. He admonishes you that perhaps you will be reminded." Surah An-Nahl 1690. Ending the day with remembrance not only reinforces spiritual discipline, but also prepares the mind and soul to recognize blessings, opportunities and guidance that may otherwise go unnoticed. It conditions the heart to expect goodness, to anticipate mercy, and to respond to life's events with gratitude and patience. Consider how this preparation works in practice. A person may have faced an exhausting day, full of challenges, setbacks, or uncertainty. By reciting zikr before sleep, they create a mental and spiritual environment that allows their heart to release anxiety and focus on reliance upon Allah. This release is not merely emotional, it is a form of readiness. The believer trains themselves to recognize divine signs, to perceive help when it comes, and to interpret events with faith rather than fear. Small blessings, an unexpected solution to a problem, a kind word from someone, a sudden opportunity, are noticed and appreciated. The heart is sensitive to divine care, alert to guidance, and attuned to the rhythm of Allah's plan. Preparing the heart for blessings also involves cultivating patience and hope. Life does not always unfold according to our timetable, and sometimes relief is delayed. But when a believer ends the day in zikr, they internalize a profound understanding. Allah's timing is perfect, and what is meant for them will arrive at the right moment. This awareness transforms the way they experience waiting. Instead of despair, they feel trust. Instead of frustration, they feel anticipation. The heart that has been nurtured through nightly remembrance recognizes that every delay has wisdom, every difficulty has purpose, and every blessing is timed with precision. The believer learns to embrace the unseen, to walk through uncertainty with courage, and to live in alignment with divine providence. Real-life experiences demonstrate the transformative power of preparing the heart. A person anxious about their career may spend nights in worry, obsessing over outcomes, but when they integrate zikr and sincere supplication into their routine, they begin to notice doors opening, networking opportunities, timely advice or unforeseen guidance that align perfectly with their efforts. A family concerned about their well-being may discover small sources of provision, protection, or support that appear as if by chance, but are in reality the result of Allah's orchestrated care. Each of these moments becomes a tangible reminder that preparation of the heart through remembrance is not wasted effort. It is an invitation for divine blessings to enter one's life. This preparation extends to all aspects of life, emotional, spiritual and physical. By ending each day in awareness of Allah's presence, and in zikr, the believer cultivates a receptive heart, a heart that sees solutions where before there was despair, a heart that finds peace amidst chaos, and a heart that embraces opportunities that align with divine wisdom. The act of preparing the heart transforms nights into sacred spaces, moments into opportunities for spiritual alignment, and everyday experiences into signs of Allah's mercy and care. It is through this practice that believers cultivate a state of readiness, a sensitivity to the blessings already being sent, and a profound trust that whatever unfolds is part of Allah's perfect plan.